Hello and good evening. Welcome to the Hot Seat with Adam D'Angelo. I am your host, Adam D'Angelo, and my co-host this evening on today's show is Anthony Carrera, sport enthusiast, amateur poker player.
Hi, Adam. Thanks for having me on your show today.
Anthony, it's always a pleasure.
I'm a big fan, and I've been following all of your blog posts that you're making at the Hot Seat with AdamD'Angelo.blogspot.com, where you've been covering a number of topics that are going on in the sporting world today.
Anthony, let's begin by discussing today's first hot topic, Ryan Braun's 50-game suspension overturned.
Well, this is a really interesting story to me because the MLB has taken a very serious stance against positive tests. Ryan Braun was handed a 50-game suspension because his testosterone levels were 5 times that of the average male.
Anthony, what were the testosterone levels?
The average male is 4-1, testosterone to epitestosterone. Ryan Braun tested just over 20-1, testosterone to epitestosterone. So this is a clear indictment against Ryan Braun. Well, the runner of the test was supposed to submit the test results to FedEx the results to the MLB. Well, it was a Saturday night, and FedEx is closed for the weekend. So he put the urine sample in his fridge. That's right, in his fridge for the weekend. So it spent approximately 30 hours in his fridge, and he sent it out on Monday morning. Well, Ryan Braun's attorneys found out about this and successfully argued that these were, quote, highly irregular circumstances for the sample. The MLB had its hands tied and was forced to overturn the suspension. So I wouldn't say that how Ryan Braun is saying that he was, the system was correct or that he was proven not guilty. I would say he won on a technicality in this instance.
Anthony, I'll tell you one thing, though. It's good that his name got cleared because this is obviously a great thing for the Brewers organization to have Braun not suspended for 50 games. Ryan Braun puts fans in the seats, and he makes profit for the organization. Them just losing Prince Fielder is a huge loss for maximizing their profits as far as game day. So having Braun back is really going to be critical and key to their success, I believe.
I would agree with that.
Anthony, did you happen to check out NBA All-Star Weekend?
No, I'm not a huge basketball fan. I watched a bit of it. All-Star games in general just don't do it for me. I find the athletes don't really care about it, and the scores will always be really elevated, and I like a good old-fashioned, hard-fought game.
Especially when the final outcome was West 152 over East 149, with Kevin Durant of the West winning his first NBA All-Star MVP. He has 36 points.
Was his third? I believe it was his third.
Third? Yeah.
I think his third All-Star selection.
His third All-Star selection, so that was good. The dunk competition, however, was obviously another poor performance. It's getting worse every year, so really the organization is going to have to do something to bring the excitement back up when it was like when Vince Carter used to be in the dunk competition and even Kobe Bryant was in it and he won it. That's when dunk competition used to be exciting. And then when you have the three-point competition, Kevin Love, a low-post power forward, winning it, what's it say about today's shooters?
Well, I agree with you on that one. And I would say about the dunk, it's funny that you mentioned Vince Carter because I can still remember his through-the-legs 360, dunk it over the back. And since then, it's more gimmicks. You've had Dwight Howard come out as Superman and do a standard dunk and win the competition. Like, for me, I'm with you.
Blake Griffin jumped over the car last year and won it. I would have liked to see it, as many other fans would have liked to see Blake Griffin back in the competition, but even those top athletes aren't even taking it seriously now.
I think it's become the athletes are making an absurd amount of money, and do you really want – I know the teams do not want their players to injure themselves and, like you said, cost the team profit in the long run. Would you want, Kobe Bryant going up for a crazy dunk, twisting his ankle, missing 20 – I don't know. I think like in your blog where you said you'd like to almost see the end of All-Star games as a whole.
Really would, yes.
I don't know.
Anthony, NFL Combine. The draft is in April.
I'd say this, the Colts, since they've obtained the first overall pick, it's pretty much been the consensus that they're going to take Andrew Luck. And I would say quarterback 40 times is not a big deal. I'm sure Peyton Manning probably couldn't run a sub-5 40 time.
But the NFL really just wants pocket passers. They're not really looking for many Michael Vicks aren't existing in this league anymore. And, Michael Vick, look at his numbers. Yeah, he can be successful, but does he have Super Bowls like pocket passers?
No. And, this is an extreme example, but take Trent Dilfer. The guy's got less talent in his pinky finger than Michael Vick has. And what I found interesting is he's won a Super Bowl. So, and what did he do? He was a game manager. The league has turned into the Mark Sanchez's of the world are the average quarterbacks. You don't need to be great. You just need to not make many mistakes. And a guy like Vic, he's flashy. He'll make the highlight reels, but he gets hurt a lot. When you're getting hit as much as him, I think that, like, for example, Robert Griffin III, he ran a crazy 4.41.
Yeah, he ran in combine. He ran a 4.41 this combine.
Yeah, and
that's
that was
the fastest among QBs.
Oh, but I think it was quite a bit faster. I think Andrew Luck ran a 4.66 and a 4.59. So still,
but he's almost guaranteed to already have the first pick wrapped up going to
Yeah,
the Colts, which is
agree.
has Peyton Manning's future in jeopardy. Is he going to be a Colt? Is he not going to be a Colt? We'll find out in March. But speaking of RG3, the St. Louis Rams hold the number 2 pick, and they really have a lot of money invested in Sam Bradford. So what I think they're going to do is they're going to trade down their pick to either maybe Cleveland or Washington Redskins would be a really good team. They have the 6th pick because they need quarterbacks. And what the St. Louis Rams need is an offensive line because Sam Bradford was the most sacked quarterback last year. So they could use a line and get some draft picks out of the trade and some other players, which will help them. Meanwhile, I don't know who it's going to be, but I would say either Cleveland or Washington Redskins move up to try and get Robert Griffin III, quarterback out of Baylor.
And another thing that, I mean, just off the top of my head, I'm wondering, these types of quarterbacks, these elite athletes who are quarterbacks, as opposed to a quarterback who with limited athletic ability but excellent passing, sometimes they tend to drop. Like Tim Tebow. Now, I'm not comparing Tim Tebow and Robert Griffin III. I think Robert Griffin is a much better quarterback, but Tim Tebow was arguably the greatest college passer of all time.
Anthony, can you make that statement, though, that Robert Griffin's a better quarterback when he's not even in the league yet? And Tim Tebow does have a playoff victory.
Yeah.
That's a tough call to make, Anthony.
This is another one of those where I think the team had a lot to do with it. There were many games this season where Tim Tebow, for 3 quarters, he was something like, I think against the Bears in that overtime victory, he was something like 3 for 15 for 40 yards through 3 quarters. And that's just not good enough.
It's not good enough, Anthony, but answer this question. Did he get wins?
He did get wins. I believe he got something like
they finished 8-8 and they won their division.
Yeah,
and he won his very first playoff game against one of the top defenses, Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's true.
I mean, we have to give him some credit, but we'll see what happens next year, and we'll see what happens with the Combine ahead of us. Daytona 500 was supposed to be scheduled this weekend. What was up with that? Wow.
This one is by no means as crazy as the urine gate, as I'll call it, but I would say that it's pretty crazy that in the history of the race, it's always occurred on the Sunday afternoon start time. And this year, Mother Nature had something to say about it, and there was initially a delay until I believe sometime in the late evening, and the rain persisted, so they had to cancel it for that day, and they rescheduled for Monday at noon, which would still be fine. Rain continued, and the track was really wet, and so they postponed it till 7 p.m. Monday night. However, the forecast calls for 80% chance of rain until 6 p.m. And so even if it stops at exactly 6 or around there, even 5:30.
What's it take, about 2 hours to clean a track?
Yeah, about 2 hours. And so I would say there's a better than average chance that A, they start later than 7 p.m., and B, that rain occurs during the race. Maybe not as severe as the cancellation, but there will be perhaps some scattered showers.
Scattered showers, yes. Well, that wraps it up for the Hot Seat with Adam D'Angelo. I'd like to thank Anthony Carrera for being our host this evening, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and good night.